Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Smash that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. We can't thank you all enough for the growth of our channel. And don't forget, we have the draw this Wednesday for all our YouTube subscribers. So subscribe just to win a free signed Milt Stegall jersey. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, that jersey is going to be awesome to win. You can find us at Ray Benny Sports. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Also, check us out on Reddit and leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider, please.
Let's get it going. It's Labor Day. All the Labor Day classics have been played. Let's start off with the Bombers and the Roughriders, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Props to Saskatchewan Roughriders. Well played game. Their offensive line played above what I thought they would. Dola Gala had time. He didn't make mistakes. They won 32-30. But let's start off with the good. You got some good?
Yeah, just a great weekend of games, too, even though the Bombers ended up losing. I mean, besides Toronto, Hamilton, maybe, but the other games all close, all good games down to the wire kind of thing. So fun weekend. For me, I don't know. There wasn't a lot of good that I can pick out in this game, really. Oliveira, good again. He seemed like the only one that was really pounding it and feeling it in that game. Probably the only guy that didn't end up making mistakes throughout it. Ended up with 88 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then to me, Nick Dembski was the other one that kind of brought it on the offense. Couple of wicked catches, a nice one-handed grab, and then he bailed out Claros on a long ball later on. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty thin for me.
Yeah, nothing else?
Nothing else that I could really think of or that I want to pick out of this game. I mean, they fought back, I guess, but they probably shouldn't have been in that position in the first place.
Absolutely not. I do have Oliveira and Dembski. They were the standouts on offense. Obviously, Dembski with over 100 yards with 118. I can also say the secondary. Some folks might laugh at that, but I thought the coverage for the most part was more than serviceable. With a big field and the depth of receiver talent in Saskatchewan, QBs can't be allowed to sit in the pocket and find the open receiver. You usually have like 3 seconds to get the ball out. Dola Gala had more than that from what I saw on many plays. So I thought the secondary, for the amount of time that they were left hanging by the lack of a pass rush, I think they did a good job. And of course, the crowd. It's great seeing blue spots represented in the sea of green. So shout out to all of y'all. Hope you all got home safe. Y'all were pretty loud. So believe you me, we have made that ride of shame home. So we get the pain. We get the pain. So shout out to the Bomber fans who made the ride.
I guess you can give it to Adam Bighill, a couple sacks in the game, but other than that, to me, the defense just was kind of lackluster all around. Just too many mistakes and just not getting a big stop or a turnover or anything like that. But we're on the good right now, so.
I thought the Bomber O-line for the most part also, well, they didn't look bad, but they didn't look too good, but especially in the passing game, but they got the running game going. They only let 1 sack go, I think. Dobson was schooled in the middle on that 1 sack, so it kind of made me wonder where Jeff Gray was at the time. Was he hurt? I'm not sure. Was he not playing well? Because there's also been rumblings of him not being very good at guard consistently. So I'd like to have some clarity on that. But I thought the Bomber O-line was okay.
Yeah, it seems like they switched Gray and Dobson every once in a while. Yeah, Gray hasn't been playing as good as he had earlier in the season, so I can see why they're throwing that in, but I don't know if that helps the guys or not. Throw them off rhythm a bit. I'm not sure, but needs to get better, especially that interior line.
Any else? And any other good?
Good game. That was about it. Entertaining.
It was a good game. Overtime. Fantastic. First time Labor Day Classic has been decided in overtime, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
That's pretty good. The bad. Every week since week 3, this slow start offense, it's mind-boggling, and I still don't understand it. You know, like Claros did go 4 for 11 to start. 0 passing yards in the first quarter is horrible. And we talk about slow starts and them getting bit in the ass, and they got bit in the ass. And not to say that Claros, it's all on his shoulders, because the play calling also was bland and puzzling as well.
Yeah, if you want to go that whole offense, Claros, again, a little bit on the run in the beginning of the game. His interception to Marshall was, again, it's mind-boggling because you're thinking, how's he getting fooled like this? And it's been a few weeks in a row now where the guys are just kind of waiting there and then jump in front of his passes. So yeah, like you said, 4 completions, that one drive in the first half, right? All 100 yards were on that drive and they scored on it. Other than that, it was terrible on offense. And drops too. Dalton Schoen dropped a few, at least a couple that he probably should add. The third one was a little bit tougher, I believe, but it just was all around was not smooth from that offense. And when you see it work so well in that drive, you're like, why can't they do this all the time? Or why can't they get this started earlier in the game, right? So disappointing effort. They woke up in the second half, but too little, too late.
Yeah, that interception by Caleros, like great play by Marshall. That was a phenomenal defensive play to look like you're taking the wide guy, baiting him, and then jumping that pass. But Caleros didn't even look off that guy.
No.
It was snap, look to Bailey, throw it right away. And just like Marshall just had to jump in front of it.
Yeah, it seemed like similar to the Montreal one, the third one, the second pick six, where he kind of just had his guy and he was throwing it there no matter what, no matter where the Montreal D was. And then this same play.
So I don't mean to call the play calling bland, but it was definitely not creative. Like the commitment to the long ball was mind-boggling. Where are these intermediate passes? The middle of the field was open almost all day long. Why not use Olatarski in the middle? Why not use Bailey in the middle? Why not use Dembski more in the middle? The middle of the field was open and they're going for these long balls. Puzzling. I don't know why.
Yeah, and the thing with them, a lot of them were either double teamed, sometimes triple teamed, and he would still chuck it down there. He did have a shorter intermediate pass one time, and he still went to a guy that was at least double teamed, maybe even triple if I'm remembering the right play. But it was, and a lot of his passes were underthrown. Even the Nick Dembski one that he ended up catching, it was underthrown. He had to fight back to get that ball and just lie down on the ground basically and catch it. So yeah, it was just, it wasn't a good first half at all for the Bombers, and nothing they did was right or got done right kind of thing. So
yeah, it seemed that they didn't also use much motion as much as they have the past few weeks to confuse Saskatchewan. And no play action. You have like not no play action, the rare use of play action when you don't have as mobile as a quarterback and you have the best running back in the league and you're not using play action on first down.
Maybe the noise played a bigger factor than we know, and that got rid of a lot of those motion plays because they couldn't talk or hear each other after the huddle kind of thing. So it was loud, especially late in that game.
I'm not buying that one. I'm not buying the loudness and using motion. Come on, put your hand up. Go. That's it. Do this. We've seen quarterbacks do this. Do this. So I'm not buying that thing.
I don't know.
It's been that
I
was
don't
kind
know
of bad
enough about
for me.
it.
The play calling, I don't know. Any other bad?
To me, the D as a whole, like you say, the DBs were left on an island kind of sometimes, but also the DBs. Saskatchewan only scored 2 touchdowns in this game, one in regulation, right? And on that drive, a couple DBs, Demario Houston and Winston Rose, went for the pick or the big play instead of keying in on their guys, and it led to big catches and runs by the Saskatchewan receivers, which ended up leading to their only touchdown, basically. And I know the D was not in great field position for most of this game because special teams is another bad factor. So they hung in tough and they made some good stops, holding Saskatchewan to field goals. But those DBs got to watch it sometimes. If they're going to make those moves, they got to make sure that there's someone back there to save their butts and make a good tackle.
Yeah, but those out plays aren't quick plays. Those take time to develop.
Yeah.
And that means you're not getting a pass rush.
Oh, yeah. The pass rush was terrible, for sure.
It's either you play the guy and you push him out of bounds or you go for the pick. Yeah. But there's got to be a pass rush to force Dolegala to make a decision a lot quicker or make a bad throw. I don't know. It's just frustrating. And I don't mean to badmouth anyone on the defense. They're a great defense. It just wasn't clicking this week.
No, they ended up with 3 sacks, but really the pressure just wasn't there, especially in OT. They brought no pressure, and Dolegala had no problem completing that drive for a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lay off the play calling. And in play calling, that includes formations. Last week I said, I'm not gonna mention the heavy set. Now, why aren't they playing the heavy set? They're having trouble really protecting Caleros at the beginning of the game. Why not put the heavy set in, run Oliveira more, use play action, and get your receivers in a better position to make plays deep rather than going deep when they're double coverage or triple coverage. I don't know. Sorry, I'm frustrated, Bomber fans.
Special teams, that kick coverage team. You can almost throw that into ugly kind of thing, but that between that and the lack of a return game, it's killing the Bombers. Like Saskatchewan is basically starting at least to their 40 to midfield almost every time. And like I said, they didn't have to get much to get a field goal range because Lawther was feeling it and he was hitting those 50-yarders. So they got to fix that. They got to figure it out because they're getting burnt every week. And Alfred, he's going to get another opportunity next week.
Yeah. These guys are just staying in their lanes and staying in their lanes hard. No one was trying to make a play on this guy or make him change his course. It was probably the worst special teams I've seen this team play in a while.
Yeah, and they've been pretty bad this year, But this
and
one was
Mike O'Shea, the
yeah.
special teams guru, the reason why he got the head coaching job.
Exactly.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is. They got to fix that.
Any other bads?
No bads. No more.
Oh, I still got bads. That defensive line, the lack of pressure, and Richie Hall choosing not to blitz Dolagala, giving Dolagala all day long to look for receivers and for longer routes to progress, and the ability for them to focus on Jeff Code and Jefferson, again, off of the stat sheet, sack-wise, not, in regards to them making a difference. Obviously, they're there, they're making a difference, but, man.
Yeah, he was too settled in that pocket.
Yeah, why not send the blitz more often?
What are they especially doing? In overtime? Overtime, there was nothing. But even when they brought heats, for the most part, it wasn't getting through either. Yes, on Big Hill sacks it did, but for the most part, a lot of other times when he brought it, it just wasn't getting through. And then they even Saskatchewan lost Colin Kelly on the O-line, and it still didn't miss a beat, it seemed. Yeah. So good job by them. Good job by that Saskatchewan O-line.
Any other bads?
No. You?
Man, that call on Cam Lawson, it's not bad. It's borderline. But you know what? If you look at it in detail, which they can do, the ball was almost stripped. It was loose. Dolagala put his head down to look at the ball. His head was down. It was lowered. It gave them more of a surface to hit. And he obviously wasn't going for his head. They got to use discretion. And, this automatically, because the head is touched, it's a penalty. That takes any, I don't know.
Well, sometimes
there's got to be discretion when you can replay that.
Sometimes when the head is touched, it's not a penalty.
And this is borderline. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Should we just go right into the ugly of talking about quarterback hits to the head?
All right, go ahead, bro.
There you go. Pete Robinson, man. If you want to get anything ugly in this game, that's Pete Robinson and the officials in this game. That not only did that play happen, there was no flag right away. There was nothing. It took probably either the command center or whatever these guys to watch a replay to see what the heck happened here. And then the fact that he didn't get kicked out of this game does not make sense to me either. Yeah. And he should not have been allowed to finish this game. Terrible hit, terrible look for the league. Straight headbutt, man, to the opposing quarterback.
That's a clown show.
Yeah.
Like, it might not have changed the outcome of the game. Well, obviously it did because the Bombers scored because of that. Yeah. And they got a second chance. But like, that just looks horrible.
Oh yeah, for the league, big time. And those officials, man, how does that not even get reviewed upstairs afterwards, saying, "Hey, he's got to be ejected"?
Yeah,
you can blame the refs all you want, but as far as I know, they can call down and make that probably decision for the refs. So terrible for the league.
Oof. Bomber fans, put your comments below. Tell us how you think Labor Day went. Can't wait for Banjo Bowl though.
Yeah, it'll be good. And the other thing about that hit is anyone defending that hit or making it seem like it was okay. And other places, even Sanchez, I think today on TSN was saying, hey, other quarterbacks, every time a quarterback hits hit in the head now, they got to get suspended for a game because Pete Robinson did get suspended. But like you say, the Lawson ones happened kind of in the middle of a play. This one was after a play, after a play, and he did it. It didn't happen during a play. So to me, it's a totally different hit altogether.
Yeah, and to say, like, the guy was not thinking of hurting the guy. He didn't care. He wanted the trash talk so bad that he smashed him in the head with his helmet.
And then he flexed. Like, whatever, man. He didn't even think he did anything wrong.
What a joke. I hope the Bombers... Oh,
yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Good thing they play again. Good thing they play again next week.
Oh, I got that cowbell. It's going to be loud.
It's going to be crazy there.
Let's go into CFL grades. I'll go with BC Lions. I'll give them a B+. They allowed Montreal back in the game. They snapped their losing skid. Good for them. They looked a little more like the team they resembled earlier. Adams was solid, not many mistakes. The defense is not quite there, but they did get 5 sacks.
Yeah.
So I'll give them a B+. All
right. I'm going to give Montreal a C+. They battled in this game. They even took the lead in the fourth quarter, but then fell apart from there and allowed BC to score 10 unanswered, 9 unanswered, or whatever it was. But
yeah,
Fajardo, 2 costly mistakes. He had a decent game, yardage wise and everything, but 2 costly interceptions. One was in the red zone as well. And then they only ended up with red zone field goals. That's it. No touchdowns. So they had to finish there. So they had a good game. They just couldn't execute and finish.
0 for 3 in the red zone.
Yeah, just field goals. So and a lack of pressure on Vernon Adams as well. So
yeah. And they've actually been pretty good at pressure since they've got Sean Lemon.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I don't know what the Bombers are going to do to get that pressure going on the line. Sorry, it's not Bombers. You know what? Yes, we're talking Bombers now. My turn. Grade. Are you sorry, Montreal, we're done?
Yeah.
Okay, Bombers. They got to get that pass rush going.
Yeah.
Like they get a C+. And we've covered the most of it for a team that, it was a great game. One of the best Labor Day classics I've seen, and that's not taking anything away from Saskatchewan. They played great. Dolegala played great, but the Bombers had plenty of self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah.
They did not play a good game at all, and I'll give them a C+. Maybe even a C. They get a C.
All right.
I'm going to give drops it.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah.
That's
big time.
That's it.
And that's where my biggest grade or bump to grade really is for Saskatchewan. B+ for them. Not only the first play of the game, where the onside kick, we didn't even talk about that. The onside kick where the Bombers guys are 15 yards off. So you're not even close. And Saskatchewan recovers it. Luckily, the D stopped it, but it was all special teams. Special teams was the biggest difference in this game. Saskatchewan was starting generally at midfield, where the Bombers were starting inside their 20 to 30 kind of thing. And the funny thing is, Saskatchewan's lone touchdown in regulation was an 100-yard touchdown, right? Or 101 or whatever it was drive. So B+ for Saskatchewan. It wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. Yeah, and they didn't blow it.
A lot of crazy plays on Labor Day. Not just this Labor Day, but traditionally on Labor Day, coaches like to take risks. It's a high emotional game, so they like to either take risks to get that emotion and momentum and emotion on their side, or they want to take it right away. And Saskatchewan took it right away.
And I'm surprised by Dickinson, man. I didn't expect Craig Dickinson to do that. I expected him even at some point to fake a punt after that play kind of thing. So, but good decision by him.
Yeah, Bombers didn't try anything.
No.
Offense, defense, or special teams.
Sorry, there was a play late in the game, the last pass for the Bombers. It looked like even like pass interference on that play. Again, O'Shea hang on to the challenge, did not throw it. Why not? What are you saving it for at that point? So.
And coaching and special teams, why didn't they take the ball at the 30? Why did they give away that rouge? That is mind-boggling. That makes no sense. They gave him the rouge and took the penalty for 10 yards rather than not take the point off the board. I don't get that.
Even that one, the second one even too, right? You couldn't give up both of those. If you gave up one, fine, but not both of those to let Saskatchewan be within a field goal. We're not going to get over this one quickly, are we?
Nope. We got a week to stew in it, and we still got one more episode left. Is it my turn now for grades? I've lost track.
Toronto, Hamilton.
Oh my gosh, let's go Toronto. I'll give them the A-. As long as the team can score, they'll be okay. Kelly throwing 2, he ran 1. I think it shows that they can win ugly and through some adversity again with Chad Kelly. They're good in hostile territory.
Yeah, that offense is going to be unstoppable. It's really good.
Yeah, I think with this performance, both Kelly and Caleros, Kelly has taken over the MOP race without a doubt.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like Toronto's offense is kind of what I expected out of Winnipeg's offense. And then you chuck in that Winnipeg D, this team should be unstoppable right now, but something's just not clicking for them. Of course, we went back to Winnipeg again. I'm going to go to Hamilton. I'll give them a C-. Unfortunately, they started this game off too slow, down 17-0 after the first quarter, 17-4 at half. Too big of a hole. I know they made it close and got within 10 at some point, but this game was never really close for Hamilton. And after doing what they did to BC last week, it's kind of a disappointment to see what they end up in this game, especially at home on Labor Day.
Absolutely. I was expecting more from Hamilton, and they did make a game of it, but they didn't have enough in the tank.
No, none.
Final game. Well, I guess final matchup with these teams. I got the Edmonton Elks. They got a B. No. You know what? I wrote that down before the end of the game because they had a lead and they let it slip away. They get a C. Man, they let Calgary come back, and now they're done. They're not in the playoffs no more. They're done. So, sorry, you get a C.
No one's done in the CFL until you're actually done. Mathematically, they still can make it. So
Again, once you have to say mathematically they will make it, what are the chances that they will make it mathematically?
22 points Calgary scored in the fourth quarter to take this game over and win it by 4. I'm going to give them a B plus. Jake Mayer looked competent against this team, against the Elks D that has been generally good. Running game for Calgary was just pounding it as well. And the D made stops when they had to. So B plus for Calgary. And like you say, Calgary boosted their playoff chances, which would have been probably almost pretty much done too if you can't beat the Elks at home. But their season still stays alive.
And Kadeem Carey had a huge, what do you call it? What do you call that?
Stiff arm.
Stiff arm. Yeah. He just embarrassed the guy, put it in his face and kept going a few yards. That was a good running game. CFL fans, put your grades down below in the comments. Let's try a mulligan. Obviously, in golf, a mulligan you get an extra shot for a bad one. We're going to look at Labor Day at the CFL playoff picture. Has anything changed for you? Who is going to make it? Who's not going to make it? Based on what you said earlier this year.
Yeah, I do believe I had Winnipeg, BC making it, and then I picked Calgary to finish third and Saskatchewan last, I believe. So having said that, I think obviously Saskatchewan's making it on the West. Winnipeg, BC, Saskatchewan at that point. Calgary may have saved themselves with this win tonight and look at a crossover because it doesn't look like Hamilton's going to take advantage of it and grab that ball and run with it. So I think it's going to be an up and down affair. And to me, Calgary is probably playing better than Hamilton. Ottawa probably still stays out of it because their schedule is too tough.
Yeah. In the West, I'm going to stick with the Bombers still making it. I'm not going to say that I'm not concerned. Since week 3, they've been, again, a slow starting offensive team. So I don't know. And it's obviously that they're missing Janneri and Grant, but I still think they will make the Grey Cup. I still think it's theirs to lose. In the East, I took the Ticats. Can I go with the Ticats? Like, they've fallen apart figuratively and literally since week 1. Bo Levi was a disaster. I'm going to stick with them. I think they can improve. I think they'll make James Butler the centerpiece and the workhorse. And I think come season's end, the defense will come into place and they could upset Toronto. So you know what? For argument's sake and for fun's sake, I'm going to stick with Winnipeg and Hamilton. I'm not going to change.
Wow.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Change.
It's a CFL, man. Anything can happen.
I know.
You just got to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah, so much confidence in that one. Let's touch the NFL since it's close to starting soon. CFL fans, do you still believe in your predictions from early on in the season? Put them in the comments below. NFL season, again, close to starting. Has your Final Four changed there? Or your semifinalist or Super Bowl winner? My Final Four has changed. Who do you got in your Final Four?
I'm probably still sticking pretty close to what I had said before. KC versus Buffalo and Eagles versus the Niners.
I got Eagles San Fran and I got KC Bengals. And I'm going to have Philadelphia and KC making the Super Bowl again.
I'm going Buffalo over San Francisco. Who did you pick to win?
Philly's going to win the Super Bowl.
Okay. They got a good team. It'll be tough.
Yeah. I think I mentioned KC the last time we talked, and maybe San Fran making the Super Bowl, but I was like, nah, you know what? Jalen Carter's going to do something crazy on that defense, and that offense with Jalen Hurts is going to be nuts. So I'm going to take Philadelphia to win the Super Bowl.
It'll be an interesting season. San Francisco's obviously, a lot of weird situation going on with Trey Lance, quarterbacks, and now Nick Bosa still not signed either. And you're less than a week away from week 1 against your Steelers. So they need Bosa, man. Without Bosa in this, that whole D kind of takes a big drop, not having that guy in there. So San Francisco needs that.
Who's more valuable to your team? Bosa to San Fran or Chris Jones to KC?
Probably Bosa to San Fran, just because KC's got that dynamic offense and Mahomes kind of thing. I know San Francisco also has a good offense, maybe a little bit weaker at quarterback until we know what Purdy is. Obviously weaker than Mahomes. So I still think KC can kind of overcome that, but Chris Jones is good too, man. He took over that Super Bowl against the Niners there back in 2019, that fourth quarter. He took it over and gave KC a chance to actually win that game. So
he took over last year's playoffs.
Yeah, that too.
Defensively, he is the reason why KC was in those games.
And same with the Niners with Bosa, man. It's hard. They're both really good players. They both
Casey won the Super
both those
Bowl, though.
teams, yeah, both those teams need those guys. Can't just be all offense.
You got a Brickhead?
Yeah, I mean, pretty easy one. Pete Robinson. You get the Brickhead for that Brickhead of a play and trying to knock Collaros out.
Yeah, deserves a 1-game suspension, without
Yeah,
a doubt.
should have probably even been more. I mean, Simone Lawrence got 2, and that was in the heat of the play with that Collaros quite a few years ago. So
I think Simone Lawrence had a history, though.
yeah, that's true. That's
I
true.
think he had another nasty hit before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That was horrible. What are you doing? Make the league look bad, makes Saskatchewan look bad again. Shout out to Manitoba diver Alex Tiagli. Please forgive me if I didn't say that right. He won the gold medal at the Junior Pan Am Games and the high diving championships in Lima, Peru. And these athletes are diving from like 15, 20, 27 meters.
Wow.
But this dude can only practice on a 10-meter platform. So he only gets to do his dives when he gets to the location.
Really? Wow. That's pretty good then. Wow.
Jeez. Isn't that crazy? Like a few days in Peru, he's like, I got to put my dives together. It's like, say what? So shout out to him.
That's pretty talented. Holy crap.
And he's going to train on that Red Bull high dive cliff, whatever diving tour. So,
Jeez.
Oh my goodness, prayers to whatever.
My heart skipped a beat just thinking about that.
I know, he's not even your child. My goodness. Benny, you have anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe, follow. Don't forget to enter the contest on YouTube and subscribe, and have a good couple days.
And in the famous words of Simone Biles, I'd rather regret the risks that didn't work out than the chances I didn't take at all. That's heavy.
Yep.
Tagliovaya, Tetuo Tagma, whatever. Over under, playing 15 games this year.
Under. I don't, man. I still can imagine him on the field last year. I can picture that in my head, kind of thing. I just don't feel. I don't know. I'm worried for the guy. Hopefully, he does obviously make over 15 games, but I think he'll be under.
Yeah, I think he'll last a year this year.
Hopefully. It just depends what kind of lingering effects are still in that head from those hits, right?
It also depends on that O-line.
Well, that too, for sure.
They're a bottom 7 O-line. It could be because they can't stay healthy.
Yeah, Armstead is hurt right now, isn't he? Teron Armstead? Yeah. So.
And he was hurt last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, on and off last year. A few games here and there.
So I think that's the issue. But you know what? I just said that he'll last the whole season, so I'm going to stick with that.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.